What's up, everybody? Travis here from Duel Humor. I'm going to be giving you guys a deck profile today of one of my most favorite, most underrated, incredible control decks that not a lot of people would expect. It could do some big things, but we're here to teach you how to do some big things with this deck. So let's get right into the profile, right?
Alright, let's get it.
Tonight's profile is going to be about Phantasm Spiral. That's right, field spell control. So, starting off, 3 of the main card. You want to see this every single game, preferably in your opening hand if you're going first. This deck has a lot of troubles going second, but it can still play through some things, but definitely going first. If you have this card, you're definitely going to be winning that game. This card is so incredible. When you normal summon a normal monster or special summon a normal monster, you can add a Phantasm Spiral card from your deck to your hand. So searchable hand traps, amazing. Its other effect is that if your opponent activates a card effect, while you control no tokens, you can summon a token to your side of the field, level 8, worm type, 2,000 attack, 2,000 defense, water. It's really, really good. That token will come into play. Amazing card. We get to that by using our 1 terraforming.
The one-off.
We also get to it with 3 pot-up dualities. You'll only be normal summoning in this deck. It does conflict with the token summon, but as long as you're doing this on your turn, you're getting to your resources, so it doesn't really conflict. It also helps you get into this card, which is absolutely broken. If you do see this after you've used a duality, it's amazing how much you can plus off this, and a lot of people are going to be fearing your field spell with a monster and 5 set back row, trust me. Moving on, 3 Fossil Digs. This is going to get into your main normal summon that we only run 3 of. There's only 3 monsters in this deck, and this is how we get to it. Megalo Smasher X, 2,000 attack, 0 defense, normal summon it, procs your effect. You'll just be beating over with this and your token for 4k each turn, so preferably you're going to win by turn 5 or, turn 4. So, moving on. This card absolutely makes this deck. This is the Phantasm Spiral card you'll be searching out with your field spell. It's a trap that you can activate from your hand while the field spell is face up on the field and you control the normal monster. Pops a card on your opponent's side of the field. You can also set this if you don't draw the field spell, but you do have that in Megalo Smasher, so you can still activate this if it's set. But activating this from your hand is absolutely broken.
So it's just Dryden.
Yes,
basically.
This is Dryden, and
man.
it's searchable, and you can get 1 on your turn, 1 on your opponent's turn, so you get basically 2
Dryden
pops
has 3
during their
guys.
turn. It's really, really great. It's your MST, it's your monster out, it's really, really great disruption. And then the other card that I run, I actually run 2 of this. Some people I've seen run 1, which I think is correct, but I run 2 because I find myself just needing search targets, because I feel like it's always optimal to be shuffling through your deck and trying to deck thin and resource management, and you want to be adding as many cards as possible, and this card's pretty relevant. Negates a monster effect, same thing as Spiral Battle here, but Spiral Power negates the monster effect and then also lowers their attack by 1,000. So it comes into play during the battle phase if they're trying to beat over your monster or your token, which is very silly to do because you're just going to get another token. You can only control 1, by the way. But yeah, it's a really good card. You could run 1. It's also a good flex spot for sighting, so, Moving on. This is what I think makes this deck relevant, is Sea Stealth Attack. So let me try to explain this card. This card is so good. Once per turn, during either player's turn, it's a trap card, you can banish a water monster you control until the end phase this turn. Face up spell and trap cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So this is how you protect your field spell. It's how you protect your floodgates. It's so good. The other part about this, which makes this card so broken, is at the start of the damage step, if a water monster whose level is 5 or higher, i.e. your token, battles an opponent's monster, destroy that monster. So it's got a Catastor-like effect to it as well for your token. So super good. This is how you'll beat over the bigger monsters that you can't destroy otherwise, and if you haven't negated their effects with certain other cards that you run on a deck, then definitely this is going to be protecting your monsters. It's going to be protecting your field spell. It also protects itself. It's a quick effect, so you can get your token off the field. This is how I use this card, is I'll get my token off the field during my opponent's turn after they've activated an effect. In the same chain, they've still activated the card.
Oh, man. So you get
that means it procs your field spell, and you get another token. So this basically makes your search happen almost every single turn. So it's really broken. Next part of this deck is probably a little controversial to some people, but I would almost say it's necessary at this point after playing this deck for so long. But I run some Paleozoics. So do the Candia, or Canadia, sorry. That's how you say Canada. Canadia. This card flips a monster face down. Super relevant. You can lock someone's extra monster zone, so I think that's super relevant. It's also just great disruption. But the other part of this is that you can summon itself from the graveyard as a normal monster, level 2 water, and
make totally awesome, right?
Yeah, you could make totally awesome with this, with the other one as well. Olenoids. So this is spell and trap destruction. Very, very relevant. So we're running 4.
Combo quite nicely.
Anytime you activate a trap card, you summon these from the graveyard. So the reason that's relevant is if you have the token Megalo Smasher, you can still get that normal summon proc off one of these guys. So I like it for game 1, but I side these out for game 2 and 3 usually. They're good cards, but you already have an MST inherently, so this isn't super necessary, but trust me, it comes up. Done a lot of testing with this deck, and these are really good options, but they're also flex spots. Moving on. 3 strike. No more hand traps. The biggest problem is someone ghost ogreing your field spell. It's a bummer. Yeah, that's for that. 3 judgment. We don't care about life points because we're just trying to control our opponent.
Because strike wasn't enough.
And this is to get the Twin Twister, the reboots, anything that you know people like. You're going to keep these 3 in. You could take the strike out depending on what your opponent's running, but this is so broken. Moving on. I only run this as a 3 of because I think it's probably one of the best floodgates that's out right now. Another really good option is to maybe just run 2 of these and like 2 summon limits. Those are really good options. White Howling is also a great card. That I would keep to the side for now. I would maybe main White Howling at some point, but trust me, this is like one of the best floodgates this format. Another floodgate I run, Macrocosmos. You don't care about your graveyard at all. All your cards can get banished, so that's no problem. The one Metaverse, we want to see the field spell. Even if you draw this and you have this as an extra card, it's just another layer of protection. If they do out your field spell, you can activate another one. And then also Skill Drain. All of them are normal monsters. We have no effect monsters. This card is just a super blowout to some decks. Another thing I forgot to mention, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is your field spell is always considered as Umi on the field or in the graveyard. Okay. So, see Stealth Attack, when you activate this card, you can activate an Umi from your hand or graveyard. So if they've already popped your field spell,
another searcher.
You can flip this and it'll activate it from the graveyard. So this card is like the best support this deck got, and it really brought this deck up quite a few tiers. I would say this is like probably like a tier 2.5, maybe a tier 2 deck. It's really, really good. It has a lot of flaws, but it's really fantastic. I have a lot of fun with it. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed my profile. Oh my gosh, this deck is so budget. I would say in total, if you're going just minimum rarity commons, this deck is going to run you maybe $40.
It's good for beginners as well. Get you into the game.
Very simple.
You learn how to play your cards right.
You don't need an extra deck.
Don't need to read a lot of effect text from monsters, and it really controls the game.
All you need is a token card.
A token. Preferably Kaiba.
Preferably Kaiba.
Any last words you want to say, Travis, before to end the deck profile?
I would say that this deck just needs some representation. We have some really amazing cards out right now. We have White Howling, the Sea Stealth Attack. There's a lot of really amazing traps out there. You could even run Trap Trick in this deck. you know, more Paleozoics. There's a lot of room for improvement in this. I don't actually run the equip spells or the Phantasm Spiral itself. I do kind of consider them bricks, but when you need to push for that damage, that's definitely how you can win. This is a much more control-oriented type of deck. 40 cards, you're really just trying to see the field spell, keep your opponent from doing things, and really just upsetting them until you're just punching them for 2k each time until you win. So it's a really simple deck, but a lot of fun. People are going to have to reread your field spell many times before they really understand how broken it is. And I've beaten a lot of tier 1 decks with this, so don't underestimate it. And yeah, that's all I got to say. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, tune in for the next one.
See ya.
See ya.